Steve Dotto here. How the heck are you this fine day? Me? I am doing spectacularly well. Especially, did you hear that? That little riff, that theme music? I gotta thank, actually that's my neighbor, Guitar Marty Hadaled. He teaches my daughter guitar. Came up to me one day, and he's a great musician. He came up to me one day and he says, Steve, your music needs refreshing. And I go, yeah, no kidding. I've been using it for the last, I don't know how long. But being in startup mode, didn't have a budget. So Marty says, hey, can I take a kick at it for you? And I went, absolutely. So he took the old theme that was written by Hal Beckett, and he brought it kind of into a new age. So I have to thank him, and he created this nice, beautiful bed of music underneath. So I'll be using this in a lot of our products as we go ahead. Pretty nice, eh? I thank Marty very much. I'll put a link in the notes down beneath here to his site. He's a great guitar teacher if you happen to live in the Greater Vancouver area. Now, what are we going to be talking about today in growing your YouTube channel to 100,000 subscribers? Learning. People ask me on an ongoing basis how it is that I know so darn much, and it's because I'm just super intelligent. Actually, it's because I think it's because I have a really curious mind, and I'm always listening to what other people are saying. And I spend all of my downtime consuming information, just trying to learn more about the space that we're in. And one of the most valuable assets for me over the years has been podcasting. Over the last, few years anyways, has been podcasting. The evolution of podcasting has just changed everything in my life, both from a production standpoint and also from a learning standpoint. Actually, it's ironic that last week, the final radio show of my career went to air. And this is a 20-year career in broadcast between my television show and my radio shows. I've been pretty much on the air. I had an over-the-air broadcast for over 20 years now. But my last radio show went up last week. And so as of this week here, I have no over-the-air products anymore. And it's the evolution of podcasting that's changed that. It's really undercut local radio and changed the world of local radio an awful lot, to the point where I see more value in producing an online product than a terrestrial product. Although I still enjoyed doing the radio show, it was it just had a declining impact on my business. So it's kind of bittersweet that this week is the beginning of Steve just living in a digital space after a very long time in the over the air space. Having said that, I wanted to talk today about podcasting and talking to you about giving you some resources that you can use to create context and color. If you're following this channel, if you're following this vlog, chances are that there's room in your life to listen to other people who are really intelligent. These are the people that I listen to that I get great ideas and great insight from. So, and I religiously listen to at least an hour of podcasts a day. And when I do it is when I'm out walking my dog. That's Farley right there. And as you can see, Farley is a moop, and he's a labradoodle, which means he's full of energy and mischief. So if he doesn't get his walk every day, he's a terror. Actually, a caveat. Even if he does get his walk every day, he can be a terror. Just way too curious as well. But I go for a walk, and I plug in the earphones, and I listen to podcasts. And I wanted to take you to some of the resources that I go to learn. And at the same time, I wanted to throw out a question to you. Who else do you listen to? Where do you go? So I'd love you to enter into the conversation area here in the YouTube in the discussion forum. What podcasts you listen to, who you rely on to learn from, because I'm always on the search for new podcasts. And here's the challenge now: is I've got so many people that I like that I listen to regularly that going out and discovering new talent is becoming increasingly difficult because I want to listen to existing podcasts. So case in point, Social Media Marketing Podcast, which is Michael Stelzner's podcast. Now I love listening to Mike's podcast, but I'm about I'm about 6 weeks behind. You can't really go by what you see on this screen because I manage all the podcasts on my iPhone, and this is obviously on my computer, which I don't plug the phone into anymore here. But I still keep the list of them going here on my computer because I occasionally listen while I'm in the office. But I digress. What was I looking at? I was following this story here with a Katarina Walter, who he was interviewing, talking about visual storytelling. I'm really interested in the world of visual storytelling, especially after being exposed to Instagram with Subi Zimmerman at Social Media Camp. So I thought, of all the podcasts I want to listen to today, this is the one I wanted to have a listen to. But this is the kind of thing that just fires up as I'm walking along. And I'm just going to play a short little bit of it. And you can imagine, with the vertical market that we're interested in, YouTube publishing, how this resonated with me.
To publishers who do have good visuals in their content. So there's another reason. Now, you had some other stats that
absolutely. So here's a couple of others that you might find interesting and mind-blowing. Viewers spend 100% more time on web pages with videos. And YouTube alone, we all know, gets 3 billion views per day. And another interesting one.
I'm walking my dog, and I hear a Katerina say, visitors to websites spend 100% more time on the website if there's video at the website. And I'm going, yeehaw! For us, that is pure gold to understand that and to learn about that sort of stuff. And those are the sorts of things that I keep learning as I walk along and as I'm walking my dog. And sometimes I have to pause and I have to make a note to myself because there's something really important that I want to incorporate as well in my upcoming vlog, or I want to do a video on. So anyways, I'm just going to quickly run through some of the people that I follow and give you a kind of a quick podcast review of some of the best sources that I have, and then I'm looking for you to fill in the gaps. John Loomer. John Loomer is a great social media podcast because he tends to keep his really short, 8 to 10 to 12 minutes. So they're nice little snippets. They're sort of like my vlogs here, but they're nice, very focused. This guy's super intelligent, especially in the world of Facebook marketing and that sort of stuff. The Bunker Project. Actually, some guys that I know produce this. They record it once every 2 weeks in Vancouver. It's a nice, cool one. If you want high volume, The Entrepreneur on Fire, John Lee Dumas's, he does every day. He interviews different entrepreneurs. So it's not so much social media or even YouTube focused, but instead it's very focused on the world of entrepreneurship. And John gets some really interesting and compelling people. And you know, here's a guy that's interviewing people every single day. His chops as far as interviewing skills are just improving dramatically. Mike Gingerich, who I just met at Social Media Camp, he does a social media podcast, and he talks about the entire world, especially concentrated, I'd say, a little bit more on Facebook than anything else. But he is one of the co-founders of Tabsite, so he really understands events online, creating contests, that sort of stuff, and his podcasts are just superior. This is Derek Halpern. Drives me crazy because this guy might be the most intelligent guy in the social media space that I've found. He really gets it. Now, he's very high energy and quite opinionated, so you might agree or disagree, but he lets you know where he stands on things. The problem with his podcast is he only releases them when he's ready, when he's read a new book or he has something really good. It's almost like a webinar. So there seems to be almost like launch cycles for getting his stuff out. But subscribe to the Social Triggers Insider. I've learned more from listening to those podcasts than almost any podcast. He looks for really intelligent authors, and he takes an academic approach to all of it. Derek Halpern, his content is just pure gold as far as I'm concerned. I got the Flight of the Conchord just because I need to laugh occasionally. The other ones that are kind of my go-to ones, and these are the ones that I check almost I listen to every single week. Amy Porterfield does a fantastic job of framing context and polishing her podcast and speaking about Facebook marketing, but some of the other aspects of marketing. She tackles YouTube marketing and a few other areas as well. So Amy is definite go-to as far as listening. David Siteman Garland, listen to his old podcasts because they're pretty good. He doesn't do podcasts anymore. He just does quick little videos that he sends out by email. But if you're looking to get some good background information, his content is superior. If you're not subscribed to the Social Media Marketing Podcast, that's a big mistake. If I had to tell you to subscribe to 2, if you wanted to learn about social media space and marketing and online and all that world, the Social Media Marketing Podcast and this one, Smart Passive Income, which is Pat Flynn's, which I actually modeled this vlog against, because what Pat does is he basically pulls back the curtains and talks honestly about everything that he's doing online and the things, and he gives you an income report of actually how much money he's making online, which is awesome and intimidating at the same time. But he's very approachable, and he gets great, interesting guests. And one nice thing about Pat is he doesn't always go to the well with the same guests that everybody else. He does get big names on there, but he also gets regular folk that are making their living online that you might not have heard of, and he really dives in and asks them the sort of questions that you'd want to ask. So Smart Passive Income, that is, along with Social Media Marketing Podcast, are the two that I would say you have to listen to. And another great resource is the podcast Answer Man, which really deals with the technology of a lot of the stuff that we're doing here. Cliff Ravenscroft, that is his podcast. And I learn an awful lot about production side stuff and also just managing an online property. Cliff dives into, and he does really well. He also has if you are going to get into the world of podcasting, he has a podcasting academy which walks people through the whole process of podcasting from, I think he calls it podcasting from A to Z. And he runs this as a regular course on a regular cycle, and lots of successful niche podcasters have come out of Cliff Ravenscroft's program. And he also, one of the reasons I like him is he also gets in and talks about the hardware and software, which I obviously appreciate a lot as well. So these are some of the resources that I turn to. I tend to, because I spend so much time on the computer, I tend to not to like to read blogs an awful lot. I tend to gravitate more towards the podcast and the vlog market because because of eye fatigue, really, just how much time I spend reading. I kind of wear out if I have to read kind of my casual listening as well. But the ideas germinate. The great ideas, or if I have great ideas, but the ideas that really to change the way that I approach my business, they germinate by listening to these podcasts. A seed gets planted. I ruminate on it for a little while. I think about it. I set it against what I'm thinking that I'm trying on doing. I listen to a few other podcasts in the same space, and I get ideas of what other people are doing. And eventually out of that, my strategies, my techniques, and my business plan ultimately grows. So those are the sources that I look for. Please have a listen to them. Tell me what you think of them. And by all means, share the ones that there's dozens of them out there that are worth listening to. If you've got a great one, let us all know about it. I'd certainly appreciate that. I hope that you've enjoyed this short little video today. If you have and you want to be a part of our community, there are 3 ways to be part of the Dotto Tech community. Subscribe to this channel. We encourage you to do that. Also, if you sign up for our newsletter, you'll be given a digest of all of our videos in all of our spaces once a week. As well, we let you know about upcoming webinars, and we've got a few on the horizon that you're not going to want to miss. And finally, please consider becoming one of our Patreon supporters. Visit the Patreon page. There it talks about how Dotto Tech is funded. It's basically crowdfunded through the support of people like you, and it's our community that keeps us going. And it's so have a look. If it's something that fits in how you like to do things, then I appreciate you supporting us. And if not, I appreciate you taking a look and considering it. With that, I am Steve Dotto, and I am done for today. Have fun storming the castle.